Nimzo-Indian defense, Hbner, Rubinstein variation. Giveaway. One player was winning, but then gave it away. That game was pretty competitive. White played the opening well, but black was on another level. That was an incredible middle game by both players. Opening with the queen's pawn. The Indian game begins by controlling the important e4 square with the knight, rather than a pawn. By taking control of the crucial d5 square and creating a space on which the knight can move to c3 without obstructing the c-pawn, move c4 helps to create a strong center. The move e6 creates a line for the dark squared bishop, sets up a rapid castle, and prepares to push a pawn to d5 and recover the piece if it is taken. And c3 develops the knight to fight for the e4 square and to control d5. In the Nimzo-Indian defense, bb4 pins the knight on c3 and threatens to trade, disturbing white's pawns after bx-c3 and preventing it from moving or defending e4. e3 supports the d4 pawn and allows the light-squared bishop and queen to develop. c5 attacks the d4 pawn, defends the bishop on b4 and prepares to develop the knight to c6 behind the c-pawn. e2 develops the knight to where it can recapture on c3 and avoid doubled pawns, but at the cost of blocking in the light-squared bishop. The bishop is prepared to grow into a functional square. A pawn kicks the opposing bishop, forcing it to move or risk being captured. The bishop is now in a secure position. This develops a rook off its starting square, getting it into the action. This develops a knight from its starting square, activating it. By growing a bishop from its initial square, this activates it. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling kingside tends to be safer because the king is further from the center. It is the last book move. A powerful play. It is quite good. That's a decent move. That's good. The knight becomes more active as a result, gaining control over more of the board. That's good. It is a fair deal after all captures. It is ideal. Recaptures. It is ideal. This strikes a rival knight. It is ideal. The knight is thus brought to safety. It is ideal. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. A pawn kicks the opposing knight, forcing it to move or risk being captured. It is ideal. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. The knight can now control more squares as a result. It is ideal. By growing a queen from its beginning square, this activates the queen. It is quite good. Among the best actions. It is quite good. This misses a chance to build a bishop outside of its starting square. It is incorrect. By doing this, a bishop moves out of its beginning square and into the action. That's good. By doing this, a bishop moves out of its beginning square and into the action. That's good. This is not the best approach. It is incorrect. Recaptures. It is ideal. Now that the rooks can see one another, they can defend one another. It is quite good. This results in a pawn kick that compels the checking queen to go. It is ideal. The queen is therefore moved to safety. It is ideal. The rooks are linked by this, making it easier for them to work together in the future. That's good. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. By posing a threat to a queen and compelling it to flee, this wins a tempo. That's good. The queen is therefore moved to safety. That's good. That is a logical response. It is quite good. The rooks can see each other now, allowing them to provide mutual defense. This threatens to take an outpost with the knight. It is best. The rooks are linked by this, making it easier for them to work together in the future. It is ideal. This requires an open file, a typical technique for rook activation. It is quite good. This puts the opposing rook in a position to lose control of the open file. That's good. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. This exchange is fair. It is quite good. Recaptures. It is ideal. This competes for the open file with the opposing rook. It is ideal. Very precise. It is best. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. It's alright. That's good. It is a fair deal after all captures. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. That's good. Recaptures. It is ideal. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. Very precise. It is best. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. This defends the pawn that was attacked. It is ideal. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. By posing a threat to a knight and compelling it to flee, this wins a tempo. It is ideal. The knight is now on a square that is more secure. It is ideal. Very precise. It is best. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. A wise decision. It is quite good. A powerful play. It is quite good. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. That's a decent move. That's good. This strikes a rival knight. It is ideal. The knight is thus brought to safety. It is ideal. Among the best actions. It is quite good. That is a logical response. It is quite good. This shifts the bishop to a square with more activity, giving it greater scope. It is quite good. The game was almost evenly matched, but black is now worse. It is incorrect. There was only one good move in that position. It is a miss. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. Very precise. It is best. A wise decision. It is quite good. It's alright. That's good. That's a decent move. That's good. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. This threatens to win a pawn. It is best. Giveaway. One player was winning, but then gave it away. That game was pretty competitive. White played the opening well, but black was on another level. That was an incredible middle game by both players. This overlooks a better way to evade the check from the opposing queen. It is an inaccuracy. Giveaway. One player was winning, but then gave it away. That game was pretty competitive. White played the opening well, but black was on another level. That was an incredible middle game by both players.